Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about social, economic and cultural inclusion concept, need and importance. So these are three types of inclusion, that is social inclusion, economic inclusion and cultural inclusion. Let us see the introduction about inclusion or social inclusion. Social inclusion is all about people being able to participate in society. It is about creating condition for equal opportunities for all. Social inclusion requires that all individuals be able to secure a job, access services, connect with family, friend, work, personal interests and local community, deal with personal crises and have their voices heard. That essentially means that all people have the best opportunity to enjoy life and do well in society. Is about making sure that no one is left out. So this is all about the brief introduction of social inclusion. Let us see the concept of social inclusion. Social inclusion is defined as the process of improving the terms of participation in society, particularly for people who are differently abled, disadvantaged, poor, deprived, etc. through enhancing opportunities, access to resources, voice and respect for rights. Social inclusion is the process of improving the term of individuals and groups to take part in society regardless of their caste, creed, socio-economic conditions, class and their disabilities or abilities. People take part in society through market, for example labor or credit, services, for example access to health, education and spaces, for example political and physical. Experiencing discrimination can lead to poor health, both physical and mental, taking years of life expectancies. We know that racism can directly or indirectly exclude people from accessing services or participating in employment, education, sports and social activities. So social inclusion is very necessary for these purposes. Let's see the importance of social inclusion. In fact, social inclusion is an important determinant of health. Without inclusion, people are more likely to experience poor health, including poor mental health, loneliness, isolation and poor self-esteem. Many people with disabilities unnecessarily experience life quite differently. Social inclusion requires that all individuals be able to secure a job, access services, connect with family, friend, work, personal interest and local community, deal with personal crisis and have their voice heard. Read on the Learn More benefit of inclusive classroom tailors teaching for all learners, including their abilities, disabilities, their giftedness, their socio-economic background, their class, their creed, their tradition, their custom. All students learn differently. Makes difference less different. Inclusive classroom are filled with diverse learners, each of whom has strength and challenges. Provide support to all students, create high expectation for all. This is called the social inclusion. The main objective of social inclusion is relationship to human right law. The main objective of social inclusion is learn. For example, participate in curricular, educational, co-curricular, community services and training, etc. Second objective is for work. Example, participation in employment, unpaid or voluntary work including family and career responsibilities. Engage, for example, connect with the use local services or participate in local cultural, civics or recreational activities. So in this way, inclusion or inclusive society is all about a society for all in which every individual has an active role play. Such a society is based on fundamental values of equity, equality, social justice and human rights and freedom, as well as on the principle of tolerance and embracing diversity. So this is all about the importance of social inclusion, need and importance of social inclusion. Social inclusion is multidimensional. It encompasses social, political, cultural and economic dimensions and operate at various levels. The most relevant aspects can be clustered under three interrelated domains, that is market, services and space. Market means laboring, workplace, services like education services, health services, etc. Spaces like political, physical, etc. Social inclusion covers all aspects of peer relationships and peer group dynamics such as inclusive and exclusive behavior, peer acceptance and popularity friendships and intergroup relationships. Social inclusion may also refer to classroom level constructs such as classroom norms and social hierarchies. Why is social inclusion important for all students? Inclusive education values diversity and the unique contribution each student brings to the classroom. In a truly inclusive setting, every child feels safe and has a sense of belonging. Students and their parents participate in setting learning goals and take part in decisions that affect them. When we discussing social inclusion, it means social exclusion, restriction of access to opportunities, limitation of the capabilities required to the capitalized on these opportunities. We also know that there is a correlation between discrimination and social exclusion and social inclusion. Many exclusions stem from discrimination of individuals or groups on the ground of their attributes, social, economic or physical disadvantages. Discrimination can impact a person's employment and income, their access to health care, education and other services. It can also make it very difficult to participate in their community, for example in work or joining a community group. So here our most important dimension is human rights, the ability to participate in society and to be free from discrimination and disadvantages. It not only an ideal, it is a basic human right, one that we all share a common right. There is human right come in the ability to participate in society and to be free from discrimination and disadvantages is not only an ideal, it is a basic human right, one that we all share a common a right enshrined in the universal. So this is all about the need and importance of social inclusion. Social inclusion of students. Social inclusion of students, creating a positive school environment that provides all people with a feeling of acceptance and belonging, encourages friendship and mutual understanding in one of the key features of inclusion quality, because of which every type of children with their giftedness, disabilities, abilities and from different castes, deprived sections, disadvantaged people are welcomed in social inclusion. In their behavior, they feel closeness, trust, safety, belongingness, sense of self-worth, acceptance, etc. It is the teacher's responsibility that creating positive social and emotional atmosphere in a classroom for social inclusion, for overall development of students. Why social inclusion? According to Edmonton Social Planning Council, social inclusion is described as a feeling of belonging, acceptance and recognition, and is intertwined with issues of diversity, equality, opportunity and democratic participation. Inclusiveness is linked with social health and quality of life, and this in turn is closely linked with economic prosperity. Social skill for inclusion. Social competent people are capable of managing their social environments by understanding and responding of social situations effectively. They have the following characteristics. First one is social sensitivity, accurately making sense of the meaning of a social event, for example decoding social cues and understanding social institutions and process such as friendship and social reciprocity. Social insight, accurately reading social situation and comprehending what is happening in a social gathering and understanding the personal characteristic and motivation of others. Role taking, reading people and understanding how they are experiencing the world. Moral judgment, evaluating social situation in relation to moral codes and ethical principles. Social problem solving, resolving conflicts and understanding how to influence the behavior of others to achieve desired goals. Social communication, understanding how to intervene effectively and influence the behavior of others, a skill that involves self-monitoring and conveying accurately to others what one is thinking or feeling. So these skills are needed for social inclusion. Concept of cultural inclusion. An inclusive learning culture is one that it's promote learning, values and respect difference, encourage new learning opportunities, offer multiple pathways to achieve goals of life, provide opportunities for developed skills, explore the learning benefits. In cultural inclusion, there are diversity in culture or multiculturalism we have in our country. So, because of that, we should promote the learning and we should respect others' tradition, customs and culture, because one can imbibe in the values of that particular culture and respect for that culture. Encourage new learning opportunities. We can learn different languages, different festivals and different traditions. So these opportunities are given in multiculturalism or cultural inclusion. Offer multiple pathways to achieve goals of life. Social inclusion offers the different paths, provide opportunity to develop skills, different types of skills, that is skills, communication skills, moral judgment, social problem solving, critical thinking. These skills are developed in cultural inclusion. Need and importance of cultural inclusion. Inclusion creates employee engagement and sense of belonging. Along with employee engagement, organizations need to make sure that they are diverse and have an inclusive environment. Employees should feel a sense of belonging, engagement, diversity, inclusion, and all belonging coincide with one another. An inclusive culture indicated a climate in which respect, equity, and positive recognition of difference are all cultivated, and the social and institutional response to disability possesses no barrier to a positive employment. So, cultural employment is very necessary at workplace, at school and at organization for the positive development of an individual in different aspects. How to develop inclusive culture? An inclusive culture starts from the lower to higher factor, which is involved in school setting, that is a student, teaching, non-teaching, staff management, administrators, support staff and parents, or school premises. School community inclusive cultures should be reflect entire school community. Supportive measure in school, put in a ramp, accessibility room, classrooms, toilet. So because of that facilities, differently able people or having certain disabilities, they can also get benefited for different educational opportunities provided by the organization or school management, because of which they can develop their future. Seating arrangements, special arrangement in classroom that disabled student can sit comfortably and learn easily. Positive attitude, supportive and understanding nature of staff and other students towards disabled is important in inclusive culture. Reinforce inclusive behavior in school. Real inclusion is about actions, not just words. Everybody should be ready to accept, adopt and adjust in inclusive atmosphere. Every stakeholder should take responsibility for inclusion. The real culture of inclusion cannot be brought about unless everyone embraces it. For the cultural inclusion, it is responsibility of all the people, that is administrator, normal people, normal student, teachers, special teacher, teacher educator, stakeholders, etc., for maintaining the atmosphere for the inclusion or for inclusive education or set up the inclusive classroom. Everybody should be ready to accept, adopt and just in inclusive atmosphere. Important things required to create inclusive culture, that is create awareness about disability among students and other stakeholders. Teach them to importance of values and positive attitude. Rules of inclusive classroom should be important for everyone. Nurture inclusive community. Importance of belongingness and acceptance. Cultural diversity should be embraced in inclusive culture. Supporting material should be properly utilized. Flexible learning approach should be adopted in classroom. Collaborative approach is taken committed leadership with proper direction required for inclusion. Most children quite easily acquire the social skills they are appropriate to their culture, but some don't and must be explicitly taught them. Some have poor social perception and consequently lack social skills. This is the particularly true of those with autism and emotional and behavioral disorders. It is also true of learners with severe disabilities, many of whom have difficulty in forming meaningful of equitable friendship. While social inclusion or cultural inclusion or developing social skills are important at all ages, they are particularly important during adolescence when inadequate social skills, cultural inclusion or social inclusion can lead to low social status among peers and a range of negative outcomes including poor achievement, dropout, victimization and violence. Concept of economic inclusion. Economic inclusion means that an individual and businesses have access to useful and affordable products and services that meet their needs. Transactions, payments, savings, credits and insurance delivered in a responsible and sustainable way. Economical situation is defined as the availability and equality of opportunity to access financial services. It refers to a process by which individuals and businesses can access appropriate, affordable and timely financial products and services. These include banking, loan, equality and insurance products. So this is all about the concept of economic inclusion. Financial inclusion means that individuals and businesses have to access useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs. Transaction, payments, savings, credits and insurances delivered in a responsible and sustainable way. Concept of economic inclusion. Financial inclusion, who are these people? Underprivileged section in a rural and urban areas like farmers, small vendors, etc. Agricultural and industrial laborers, people engaged in unorganized sectors, unemployed, women, children, old people. So these people are included in the financial inclusion. Need of economic inclusion or why financial inclusion. Mobilization of savings, larger market for the financial system, sustainable livelihood, political objectives. Why financial or economical inclusion is necessary? Because of mobilization of savings, because of larger market for the financial system, sustainable livelihood. Sustainable livelihood in the sense all facilities available for an individual to live happily in their life. A political objective, fulfillment of political objective. Economical or financial inclusion is very necessary. Social objective, economic objective for the purpose of earning money. These are the most important aspects needed in economic or financial inclusion. Economic inclusion. What limits access to financial services? Large section of a population financially excluded. What limit access to financial services? Large section of population financially excluded. These are the economic inclusion. Social barriers, low income, geographical remoteness, nil or low saving, financial literacy, unemployment, lack of awareness, various terms and conditions, legal identity, psychological barriers. So these are some aspects of economic inclusion because of which we needed economic or financial inclusion. Economic inclusion. Financial inclusion is based on saving, bank accounts, financial advice, payment and remittance, insurance, affordable credit, savings, etc. So in this way we completed today social, economic and cultural inclusion. Thank you one and all.